having fun, drinking yayan with Yahweh Shai up in the kingdom, yeah.
Who are we? Israel! Then who are we?
Israel.
Who's the power?
Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power, yeah.
Who's the power?
Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power, yeah. Y'all chillin' up in the kingdom.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Shalom to everybody online, and welcome to another live class. We're here at 231, what is it? We're here at our new address, 231 FM 1092, Stafford, Texas, 77477. We got class Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. If you're near to us, if you're local, please feel free to come and join us. All right, we have classes in other locations. We're in Virginia. We're in Rochester. We're in San Antonio. We're at 2610 Granby Street in Virginia. They got class every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You can hit up Priest Kazakia for the details on that. Or no, we got Priest Zion out there, excuse me. Rochester is every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday also. You can hit up Priest Kazakia for the information for class on that. We got class in San Antonio at 4444 Walsham Road, San Antonio, Texas, 78218. 78218. Yep. They do class every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday also. All right. Again, a lot of y'all already know these announcements. So when she's putting the information on the screen, right? Con. Yep. So we got as far as feast days, y'all know today or sundown yesterday began the Day of Atonement. That's probably why I'm so loopy right now. Right? We're going through a day fast, no food, no water. So that is going to be over. I know some of y'all are counting the clock hard, thirsty, right? In approximately 45 minutes and 30, it's going to be over about 7:30. All right, is when the sun goes down. So that'll conclude the feast of the Day of Atonement, and then you can drink your water, eat your food. I suggest if you're not used to fasting and you did it with no food and no water, you should break your fast with water. If you try to go in with the hamburger, if you try to go in with some heavy food, it's going to hurt your stomach. You got to relubricate your inwards with some agua, rehydrate your body, and then wait like maybe 15, 20 minutes, drink some juice, and then come back and then eat some food, some soup or something like that. But if you're not used to fasting and you just try to go right in with a heavy meal, you're going to hurt yourself, all right? So hopefully everybody set up their prayers. Hopefully you ask the Most High to, forgive those sins of the past year. Hopefully you ask forgiveness from brothers and sisters of the offenses that you may have caused. So that's what the day is about, atoning for our mishaps and wrongdoing. So coming up after that, we have
Please forgive me all. Please forgive me all.
Right? Yeah. Forgive me for all my offenses. If I offended anyone online or in class, I ask for forgiveness. All right?
It was always really coming from a place of love. Nothing to hurt or break down anybody.
God. Yep. We got Feast of Tabernacles coming up on the 19th, so that's in a few more days. 5 days? 4 days. So we're going to kick that off. We'll give you the details on the feast. We won't be having class. So that's 8 days. All right, 8-day feast. We won't be having class those days. So if you don't see us, we didn't disappear. We're just observing the feast days. Okay. You can watch us all our different channels on YouTube. ISBHPK Virginia, Houston, Albuquerque, Hidden Truth Bible Show, Israelite Media Corp, ISBHPK kids. So there's many different ways to watch us on YouTube. We also have a Facebook page, ISBHPK, or Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge on Facebook. Sometimes we broadcast from Facebook. You can check out the Blog Talk Radio. Mashaba does that every Tuesday and Thursday via Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's 10 a.m. So check out for that. We got a few businesses. We got Israel Wear. Any garments or headbands you need, you can put in a request. They'll custom make whatever you want. We also do our Fringed Up subscription. You sign up. It's about $35 for a shirt, or $75 for a shirt and headband. That's monthly. We'll get you out a shirt and a headband to match every month. Okay. We also have our business, Sweet Ambiance. Here in Houston, it's Peaceful Sensations. All right, you can check that out. We're located in we're in the mall, First Colony, so you can check us out. We're back in Houston. Okay, and then we got a few locations in Virginia, Rochester. You can go to the website. You can order different fragrances, make the house smell good, make the body smell good. Anything for your smell good needs. We got Hebrew Academy. In Virginia and Rochester, it's every Monday. In Houston, it's every Tuesday. All right, so if you're local and you want to be part of the Hebrew Academy, feel free to join us. All right, and the Hebrew Academy is important. That's where we train brothers how to. You want to be a priest, you gotta be taught. You got to know how to go through your Bible. You got to know how to read. You have to know how to hold posts. You got to know how to read at street speaking. It's reading class. So we go through these many different things in Hebrew Academy. Okay, if you need to contact anyone, I'm Priest Quatazat. My number is 303-557-8979. Or you can reach Priest Kazakia. His number is 757-300-4047. He's out in Rochester. Hit us up for whatever it is that y'all need. Anything that you'd like to give, any donations are appreciated and welcome. Send those to the Wells Fargo, to our Wells Fargo account, or you can Zelle, or you can mail whatever you want to the school. Again, the number here is 231-FM-1092. I'm trying to memorize it. Then you got Virginia, 2610 Granby, and you got San Antonio, 4444 Walsham Road. So you want to mail any books, pens, papers. I think Dorothy Branch, I think she mailed a bunch of books to San Antonio and here, I believe.
Yeah,
The Apocryphas, right. So, yeah, it's little things like that. I mean, we're constantly getting people coming into class that don't have the books. So, if we could supply just the basic things, books, pens, paper, Apocryphas, some highlighters, you know what I'm saying? It helps out. So, again, we appreciate it. Anybody that gives, if you don't give and it's in your heart to do it, do it. It don't got to be money. Whatever you got that is going to benefit the truth, benefit the body, then we'll gladly receive it. Con? All right. Everybody good? Little sip. I wanted to get into, y'all see the title of the class. The title of the class is the mind I minister. And I really wanted to go over this class and just remind brothers and sisters that, for one, a minister is not just a man. That's first and foremost. To be a minister in Christ, it's not just a man thing. That it's not a gender, it's not a rank, it's really more of a mentality. And you have to have your mind set a certain way to be the best minister possible, or else you're really just not a minister. You're just another person. So the title of the class, The Mind of a Minister, and the first point you can write down is living sacrifice. And I really want to. This is a really important part of being a minister, is that living sacrifice, because to be a true minister of the Most High in Christ, it is a giving up of something. It is a sacrifice on all fronts, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to go through the scriptures, and we're just going to dive right in. Give me 2 Corinthians 6 and verse 4. We're just going to dive right in. And, I got a lot of heavy scriptures going in about Paul. We're going to be dealing with Paul a lot, the apostles, and really seeing what was the things that they had to go through to be counted as ministers of the Lord, to be counted worthy, to hold that mantle and say, look, I represent or I'm a minister, and really do it the right way. Because there's many ministers, right? You got minister such and such down the block, right? At whatever church, at Ecclesiasticus such and such, right?
Yeah.
There's many ministers. Anyone can title themselves minister, but who's really living that minister life? And the only way to live that life, do me a favor, move over just a tad. The only way to live that life is that you have to be in the mentality. You got to be in the proper mentality to live that life. So, read that scripture for me.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 4.
Right?
But in all things,
right,
approving ourselves as the ministers of the Most High.
So there's an approval process that a man or woman has to go through to be approved or to be counted worthy of a ministership or minister, like ministerhood. I'm making words, right?
Hey, you make a word that end up being true,
right? There's an approval that has to happen, and there's things that you have to go through. And Paul said, he said in all things, not just a few things. You can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose what you want to be or what you want to deal with to say, look, I'm minister such and such, or I'm high priest this person, or I'm chief this person. What have you been through? What have you gone through? What have you, as the title of the bullet point is, what have you sacrificed? So read on.
In much patience.
So there got to be a lot of patience in a person to be donned with this, anointed with this minister cap. Now you think like, well, the minister, he's the top rank, right? He's the top guy. He's the man. Like, why would he have to have patience? People supposed to be waiting on him, right? Supposed to be waiting on the minister, right? Minister come in, everybody, oh, how you doing, minister? Everybody bow down, right? But it's telling us that there's certain characteristics that has to be in a minister, and one of them is patience. Go ahead.
In afflictions.
Go ahead.
In necessities.
Go ahead.
In distresses.
Right. So to be qualified as a minister, there's going to be affliction, necessities, and distresses. Right. There's going to be situations that may be out of your control, but you got to control it. You got to be patient. So the mentality, because what do most people not want to do?
They don't want to fight.
They don't want to fight how? Pertaining to this one little scripture we hit, they don't want to fight how?
They don't want to fight. They don't want to fight through their tribulation. They want to give up.
Right. They don't want to go through. Nobody like who's like sign me up for affliction. Right? Who's waking up like, hey, affliction? Oh yeah, sign me up for that. Yep. Give me, a full portion of affliction and necessities. Right? I need a double my cup of distress. Who's waking up and asking for that? Is anybody? We waking up like Yahweh, remove the distress, right? Remove affliction, remove these things from us, right? We're waking up and asking the Lord to alleviate us of some of these things, right? Because nobody's literally waking up like, yeah, distress me today, right? Afflict me today. No, we're not. We're like, Lord, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? You start praying all the Our Father, everything, right? You asking the Most High, like, look, remove these things. Go ahead, verse 5.
In stripes.
Go ahead.
In imprisonments.
Go ahead.
In tumults.
In tumults, read.
In labors.
Right.
In watching.
Right.
In fasting.
Right. So in stripes, meaning I'm going to catch a beating. I'm going to catch a beating, right? In imprisonments, I'm going to have to be imprisoned in some form or another. Now, we look at this imprisonment and we know what Paul was talking about. They literally were thrown in prison. Paul was literally thrown in prison a few times, right?
Yep.
Now, we know that right now, the temperature ain't turned up on us like that where we getting in prison for teaching the Bible. Like I always say, ain't nobody busting down the school walls talking about if y'all don't put those Bibles away, y'all going to jail for a night. That's not happening with us, right? But there are different levels of imprisonment that we have to put ourselves under that a lot of us don't want to go through. And it goes back to the sacrifice where my first imprisonment, before the white man can lock me up, right? Before the white man can lock me up, what's the first imprisonment I got to go through?
The one you imprison yourself in.
Okay, but what am I talking about? It's a chapter in the book of the Bible. Huh?
Your mind?
Right, but what do I have to be imprisoned by? Ivy?
Wisdom?
I gotta be imprisoned by wisdom. Meaning I gotta be in Ecclesiasticus the 6th chapter.
Yes, sir.
And I have to let that imprison me. But that's a sacrifice. Because I gotta give up my time. I gotta give up my way. I gotta give up the things that I hold dear and say, you know what? Let me put on those shackles.
Put on fetters.
Let me put on those fetters.
Yeah.
Not knowing what it's going to turn to. The Bible tells you what it's going to turn to. So there's different levels of imprisonment. We know Paul was going in about real jail with real bars, right? And real prison stuff going on. But we ain't dealing with that level yet. But what happens when it gets there? See, there's a preparation for the mind, and it starts here. He's showing us that the way to be approved is that these things, on some level or another, like who's getting beat, who's taking real stripes, right? Is somebody breaking your back? Put down that word of the Lord, nigger, right? Is somebody doing that? No, nobody's beating you. The scriptures say you have not suffered unto blood, striving against sin. So we know that no one's beating us for teaching the Bible. No one's whooping, like you walking around with your fringes on, and all of a sudden the cat of nine tails come out and rip your whole shirt off your back. grab your burden, right? And all of a sudden they string you up. It's not happening, right? But there are there are stripes that we take. There are levels of persecutions that we take for professing and coming back to our heritage, right? But who is willing to take those stripes? Who's willing to take those hits? See, not everybody wants to walk around like an Israelite. They're embarrassed, they're scared, they're nervous, right? I can't wear the garment because they're gonna look at me funny.
Yep.
Huh? Okay, so you ain't ready to get that beating, huh? You ain't ready to take that tongue lashing,
Chastisement.
that chastisement. Why you dress like that? Why you always with them? Why you always over there? Right? Go ahead.
Verse 6. By pureness.
So in all these things, you got to go through these things, but you still got to be pure, right? What does it say in Titus? It says, to the pure, all things are pure, but to the defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. So I have to keep a pure outlook about what? Well, I got to keep what?
About the tribulation that you're going through.
About the tribulation I'm going through, about the affliction, but also about the people that may be putting me through the affliction. Could be your own people. I got to keep a pure outlook on them and say, Father, forgive them, like Yahweh Shai, right? Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. It's easy for us to just write people off. Then I'm done with y'all. But Christ didn't write off Judas. For 3 years, he didn't write Judas off. He, by pureness, dealt with Judas. He sacrificed his own thought. Because remember, and I might reiterate this a few times. But the Bible says that Christ was tempted in all manners that we was tempted in. So what happens when you got a dusty, thieving, deceitful nigga around you and you know it? What you want to do? What you say? Beat him up, cut him off,
Get rid of them.
get rid of him, right? You want to whatever it is, right? But who wants to say, you know what, brother? Come close,
Come closer.
ride with me, ride with me, and let me show you the example. Who wants to do that? Nobody. Who wants to sacrifice in that way to look like, oh, you soft, oh, he's getting over on you, oh this, oh that, right? I think I talked about this way before I left in a previous class about, just giving up that mind of revenge and avenging yourself. Who's willing to do that? Who's willing to get into that mind? See, this is the mind of a minister. The mind of a minister is not, let me get my revenge on you. It's, you know what? Let me pray to the Father for you. Forgive them, right? Forgive your enemies. Love your enemy, right? Read on.
By knowledge.
Go ahead.
By long suffering.
Go ahead.
By kindness.
See, these are all things that you have to encompass if you want to be a minister, or if you want to minister. If you want to be I'm not going to use that word. I'm going to use the word minister. Go ahead. He said by knowledge. So I got to know what's going on. I got to know what I'm trying to get into. I got to know what this is about. Like, I got to know what it's about. What being a minister is about. Well, the first top tier thing, it's all about sacrifice. It's all about giving up. Or else you're not really a minister. You're not really a minister. You're here to be ministered to. Go ahead.
By the Holy Ghost.
Go ahead.
By love, unfeigned.
Yeah, so he's showing you can't be fake. Unfeigned means fake or easily changed. I can't be 1 minute gung-ho, ready to die for the nation, and then the next minute, man, my rib yelled at me, so now I don't know. Like, what? So your rib yelled at you, and all of a sudden you don't know what's going on? Or my husband, he actually made me do something this time. He actually held me to a standard, and now I don't know. I don't know about this life. It's just not for me. No, it says by love, unfeigned. You can't be easily changed, man. To 1 minute you down, the next minute you're not. See, you wouldn't be a good minister. You wouldn't be a good minister because then anything would change your mind from doing the first duty. Right? Go ahead.
When you say that, unfeigned and anything will change your mind if you don't have that unfeigned love. You used to bring up examples about dealing with the child.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're dealing with a child, a baby, it's like, oh, they're so cute and beautiful. But then the moment they pee on you, when you get ready to change your diaper, it's like, I ain't messing with that no more. You was cute, but not no more.
Nobody does that though.
No one does that.
The baby can poop all out the diaper, all on your brand new bed sheets, and you're like, oh, he's so cute. Right? Oh, it's just a little baby. And
It's a sticky one.
Yeah, oh, you poopy, right? You talk a little crappy baby talk, you change your sheets, wash them, clean them, throw the baby in the tub, and you act like it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you talk the same baby talk, poo 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 ga 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 ga. No one changes because the baby messed up. You don't change your love towards the baby because they vomited that day, or because you put them in new clothes and they went and dirtied up their brand new clothes that you just put on them. What did you understand?
They're a child.
They're a child, right? You use knowledge and say, children are going to be children, right? You use patience and say, let me, you know what? Like, how many of us have had a baby where you change them and then 2 minutes later they got to be changed again, and you're like, dang. And 2 minutes later, you're like, what the hell's going on here? Right? Do you just smack the baby in the face like, nigga, stop using the restroom? You smack the baby, stop pooping, damn it. Right? Stop peeing, I just changed you. And you go off on the baby? No, you're like, damn, okay. Yeah, you got to poop. You just gonna keep crapping, huh? Right? You don't get upset and go wild and go crazy, and all of a sudden I don't love you no more. Get out of here, and you kick the baby down the steps, or you take the baby to one of those fire stations.
Oh, leave it in the basket.
Leave it in a basket. What is it? Safe retreat or something? You take it to the nearest fire station because you keep peeing? No one does that. Right? Right. Love on fake. What's that?
No, just like that's the pure outlook. That's the pure outlook that you have towards the child.
Right.
No matter what they do, no matter what they do that affects you, it's not gonna change your love for them, your genuine love for them.
Right. Right. Because your love is not contingent on how many diapers they crap.
Right.
Right? Your love is not contingent on that. Your love is contingent on that's my baby. I birthed it. It came from me. Whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
Right. It's not a condition of the baby messing up or doing things that babies do.
Right.
You see that? But as a minister, the same principle, it's the same principle. It's a parallel.
Yes, sir.
Because you're ministering to people. You can't be upset when people do what people do. Right? When people with no knowledge do things that do unknowledgeable things. People with no faith do faithless things. You can't be in the mind like, oh, screw them.
Right.
Your mindset has to be set in a way that, okay, I can't let what they do remove me from my path. Y'all get that? Go ahead.
Verse 7. By the word of truth,
Right, read.
by the power of the Most High,
Go ahead.
by the armor of righteousness.
By the word of truth. See, all these things approve us. How much of the word is in you? How much armor do I armor up with that day? Did I leave my boots? Oh, so I got completely dressed but forgot the shield? Damn. So I left with the shield, I got the boots, I got the feet shod, chest plate, right? Headgear, armbands, but damn, I forgot my sword. Woo! So I could defend myself, but I can't attack. You're a halfway warrior, right? You're halfway. So it's showing us that there has to be a level of readiness in a minister. There has to be a level of, that's what it is, being ready, right? Being ready and preparation. Go ahead.
By the armor of righteousness.
Go ahead.
On the right hand,
Right.
and on the left.
Right, so there's no imbalance. Armor of righteousness on both sides. I'm armored up no matter which way it goes. I'm not unbalanced. Go ahead.
By honor.
By what?
By honor.
So there has to be honorable men and women that take on this ministerhood, this ministership, this ministering. There has to be a level of honor. Go ahead.
And dishonor.
Go ahead.
By evil report.
Right.
And good report.
Right. And whether the report is good, whether the report is bad, I still have to be a minister. The report could be bad and maybe not true.
Yep.
Do I get out of character? Do I lose my mind? Or what do I do? Well, by the word of truth, right? By kindness. Go ahead.
As deceivers.
Right.
And yet true.
And again, why am I going here? Well, because the mind has to be set that this is how people are going to think of you. This is how people are going to think of you, man. People are going to be looking at you like, well, what do you want? There was a sister in Rochester. She had that side eye type of mentality. Like, basically, what do y'all want from me? Well, we don't want nothing. You came. We didn't go to your house, knock on the door, and pull you out your room like come to class. You drove up, right? But the mind is, well, y'all are trying to deceive me out of something or take from me. No, we don't want nothing. We don't want nothing from you. But why am I going here? Why is it important? Why did I start here? Because if you don't understand the things that are going to befall a minister, you won't get very far. These things are things that are going to befall a man or a woman that says, I want to be a minister. I want to minister to the saints. I want to be a help. I want to be a leader. I want to be a follower. I want to be part of the body. These things These things, you're going to fall into these categories at some point in some time. And you got to have that mind prep that, wait a minute, through all these things are, when you look at them, these things are sacrifices. Because who wants to be sit there and accused of being dishonest when you know you're not? Mm-hmm. Right? Because again, to be accused of being dishonest, how does the world deal with that? They're ready to pull up, fight, this, that, and the third, right? You calling me out my name, you lying on me, right? But what do we have to sacrifice? We got to sacrifice that mentality and do what?
Talk it out.
That or hold your peace.
Be like the lamb.
What it said when he was reviled, he reviled not.
Gone.
Sometimes you just got to shut up and let them talk. Let them talk bad about you.
Right, let them get it out.
Yeah, but answer not a fool according to his folly. And that takes a level of sacrifice. You got to swallow a lot of pride. Because in the world, ain't nobody doing that. They answering everything according to every folly. That's why there's so much killing and misunderstanding and shooting, because everything deserves an answer in the world. But here in the truth, we understand, that answer, we don't need to give no answer to that. We don't have to fuel that fire. Let's sacrifice, like he said, give the sacrifice of fools, or be ready to hear. Sometimes that sacrifice of fools is how much you talk and what you let out of your mouth. Y'all see this? So sometimes you have to be willing to just hold your peace. And people look at that like, well, why aren't you defending yourself? Why you ain't saying something? Why you ain't going back and forth? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Go ahead.
Verse 9. As unknown,
Right?
and yet well known, as dying.
See, as unknown, but yet well known. It's funny, man. Like we just reopened the mall. We just reopened the mall, right? And people running up to the damn car like we celebrities. They call on the phone. They, oh my God, Q, y'all are back. Like everybody knows us in there. But then, as soon as you start teaching that Bible, don't nobody know you. It's like, who's you? Right? As soon as you start dealing with something that they ain't on, it's like, I don't know you. Right? Let me take a sip. My mouth was dry. Sorry.
Sips for all.
Yeah, the fact, hey, listen, it's over. I can tell you how about you not shy. Hopefully y'all atone, like we said earlier. But as known, yet unknown. Go ahead.
As dying.
As what?
As dying.
Because that's how they look at us. Like y'all out here in these streets dying. Even with the mall, again, we reopened up our spot. And they're like, man, what have you guys been doing the whole time? Like, how you guys survive? And it's like, I ain't losing no weight on purpose or by accident, right? I'm losing weight on purpose. We surviving because it's not about money. It's not about riches and fame and those things. So they look at us a certain way because we're not doing what they do in the world. That how are y'all making it? But see, that's the whole point of being a minister. You learn how to abase and how to abound. You learn how to make it in adverse times. He said it in necessities, right? He said it in fastings, in afflictions and in distress. You know how to get through those things. These are the attributes that are taught, but these are the things that your mind has to be on and understand that any time, man, I could be afflicted. What am I going to do? At any time, I could be in a needful state. What am I going to do? Am I going to lose my mind like the world does? Commit suicide? Drown the kids? Poison the dog with battery acid? Pour bleach in the plants? What am I going to do? Or am I going to, like the scripture says, be not anxious for nothing, but in all things, supplication and prayer? Am I going to pray about it? Am I going to ask the Most High to guide me? Or am I going to make my own way? Well, babe, I know we live on the rent, so I'm going to have to put you out there. Get that one bathing suit. You know what I'm saying? Get the thong from Vicky C.
Yeah.
Right? Get that. Get them one pumps that I like. We're going to do your hair real nice. And we're gonna put you out there. I sound like DJ from Damn Hustle and Flow, right? He said we're gonna get you that real nice business suit, and we're gonna get you a flip phone, right? What do you say? We're gonna get you with a real number this time, right?
With a real number this
With a
time.
real number this time. He was gassing her up, right? He was the damn pimp gassing up the little hoe. Is that what we gonna do though? We gonna be gassing up our ribs? Like, yeah, no, listen, babe, the rent. But listen, this, get you that short skirt, the nice shoes. Remember the nice shoes you wanted? We're gonna get you in those. We're gonna get you a Gucci purse, right? Get your hair did real good, get you some makeup, because you always like that Fendi makeup, so we're gonna get you the makeup. But then we're gonna have to hit this and that, right? I'm gonna wait here at the Shell, and you just go ahead and walk the block. Oh, is that what we're gonna do when we start not having? Of course not, right? No, we use the knowledge, right? We use long suffering. You see that? We use the Spirit. These are the things that a minister's mind has to be on. How do I get through these things and use the weapons that are afforded to me to get through? Well, for one, it has to be a giving up. There has to be a sacrifice. Go ahead.
And behold, we live as chastened and not killed,
Go ahead.
as sorrowful, yet always rejoicing.
Yeah, they look at us like we in sorrow because we ain't doing Christmas. Because we ain't doing birthdays and you ain't coming out for New Year. Y'all don't do New Year's? New Year's? Right? Like, no. Damn, that must suck. Actually, it don't. It's actually dope because I can avoid all the shootings.
God.
That's even like I spoke to my worldly mother the other day, and my daughter's like, "Look, I lost my tooth," and I was like, "Oh, the tooth fairy didn't come?" My daughter's like, "The tooth fairy's not real. My mom told me," and I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "No, I saw it on the movie." Like, then I had to talk with my daughter. Like movies are fake, right? She's like, "Oh yeah." It's like, "Yeah, that's not real." She's like, "You missed out on the tooth fairy." Like, she did.
Give me some water. Cold. Yeah, but that's the thing. They make it seem like because we don't do what the world does that we're suffering. No, y'all, damn, that must be hard.
No Christmas.
No Christmas. Like, what do you tell your children? The truth. The truth.
No Valentine's?
Yeah, like, no. Go ahead.
As poor, yet making many rich.
And that's a sacrifice too, because it's true. If that ain't true, I don't know what is. If that part right there, as poor but making many rich. But you know why it's beautiful? Because, and as we go through the class, we'll see, but it's not foreign. It's not something that's irregular, like, oh my God, I gotta give up and somebody else gotta benefit. That's all it's saying. That someone else is benefiting off of your works. You'll benefit too. Maybe it's not the same way. You see that? Go ahead.
As having nothing,
Right?
and yet possessing all things.
Right. Remember, Yahweh Shai said it. He said, I know thy tribulation. Right? How's it go?
Want me to get it?
Go there real quick.
Get it.
Revelations 2.
You know that word.
What is it, 2 and 9? Yeah, read that.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works.
Right?
And tribulation.
Go ahead.
And poverty.
Read the stresses, afflictions, necessities. Read.
But thou art rich.
Right. Having nothing yet possessing all things. Why? Because it's not about the actual possession of money. That don't matter. Possessing money don't matter. You know what matters? When I do possess it, how do I not lose my mind when I have it, and when I don't have it, how do I expand it? How do I make sure everybody has it? Being in possession of money is not the thing. That's not what gets people. It's when they don't have it is where they lose their mind. It's how to get it. You see that? From there, I want you to look up the definition. Go here. Read the definition of minister that I got.
Come. Minister. Properly, a chief servant.
So a minister is the highest level of a servant. He's not the low level, low grade butler. He's the highest level. But because nowhere in here did it say servant, right? Nowhere in here did it say servant. So I want you to check this out. But in all things, approving ourselves as chief, we have to have patience, affliction, in afflictions and necessities and distress. You see where I'm going, where you have to encompass all these attributes and do all these things and still be the highest level of a servant. Not, oh, I'm cooking your meal and dusting your shoes. But guess what? I might be going through something. I might be going through something in my household. But guess what? He calls me because he's going through something. So my something no longer matters. My something goes on the back burner. Y'all see that? My whatever I'm dealing with, I got to forget about that for a moment. It's a beautiful thing in that, though. And it always works. It never fails. And I'll explain to y'all later where I have to put my burden down and pick up his. Something so poetic about it that happens. It never fails.
Never.
And he knows what I'm talking about. And I hope y'all know what I'm talking about. But it never, ever fails. And we'll talk about it as we go down. So, go ahead, minister properly a chief servant. Go ahead.
Okay. Hence, an agent appointed to transact or manage business under the authority of another.
So, let me ask y'all a question. Who in here has ever been a manager of any job that they've ever had? Manager, right? Manager? Okay. I've managed a few things. You know, I managed my little T-Mobile job. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Mostly every job I had, I went into management. That was just my mind state. But how many of us have ever had a bad day at work? Right? We've all had bad days at work, right? We've all, you have a little argument with your boyfriend, little girl. I'm talking about in the world, right? I'm taking it to the world now. You had a little argument with your girlfriend, boyfriend, argue. He pissed you off that night, right? Did you disappear from work for a week? Like, oh, I can't manage the business no more, I'm out. I can't manage this. Well, what did you do? Went to work, you sucked it up, you washed your face, you girded your loins, and you pushed through the day, right? Also, you could do what? Call up your homegirls or your homies, go drink with them that night, get faded, get plastered, right? Drink away the pain, right? All to do what? Go back home to that person. Maybe make up, maybe not, right? Argue some more, right? And then do the same damn thing again the next day, right? You went through the affliction. You coped, right? All because you needed to minister at your job. You need to, you had to minister at your place of employment. You had, whatever, I don't care if you was ringing up cash registers. You were servicing somebody, right? But also you can continue to fulfill your employment obligation. You suck up what you had to suck up and you did what you had to do, right? You didn't just, like, here's my badge, I quit. My husband is arguing with me. Me and the wife, man, we got into it. Nah, you go to the job, you actually start talking crap about, man, the wife, the old ball and chain. The boy you work with, he's like, man, what's going on with you? He's like, man, the old ball and chain. Yeah. And you start venting to him, right? You at work venting, trying to get through it, trying to look for answers. You didn't just, I gotta stop. You kept going. You kept going through the necessities, through the distress, through the affliction, the imprisonments, the stripes, the labors. Think about it. Cats get locked up. The first place they call them is their job. Listen, I need to call in. I'll be back in 72 hours, right? Trying to hold on to that job, right? The point is, you didn't stop in the world that level of ministering because you went through things. You kept pushing through it, right? So finish up that definition. McGunn, you're going to get me 1 Corinthians 4:1. Go ahead. Finish that definition.
Done. In which sense, it is a word of very extensive application.
Right. There's many applications to this word minister because it could be applied in many different things. Right? Go ahead.
One who serves at the altar.
One who serves at the altar. Go ahead.
One who performs dutal duties.
Go ahead.
The pastor of a church.
Right. Go down to the next part.
Okay.
Minister.
Minister.
Right?
To attend and serve.
To attend and to serve. So a minister is someone that's at service or attending to someone else's needs. That means that your needs don't mean a damn thing, right? Well, like a doctor. Does his needs matter when he's attending? They call them attendings. Y'all know that, right? They call the doctor an attending. Who's your attending physician? Now, when he's attending to his patients, he can't be complaining about his ailments. Man, my foot hurts. I can't examine you. He's like, let me examine you. Let me go bitch about my foot later, right? To my attending. But the attending ain't bitching about what he got to go through to his patients. He's just dealing with it, right? He sucks it up. He does his job. Go ahead.
To perform service in any office.
Go ahead.
Sacred or secular.
Right.
To afford supplies.
Right.
To give things needful.
To do what?
Give things needful.
To give the things that are needful. But those are my things.
Them are things.
Those are my things. Oh, you deboning me now? That's our bike, punk.
Right?
Right? That's my bike. That's our bike. That's our chain, right? Nobody should feel deboned, but the mind state is, wait a minute, the things that are needful. What's needful? I'll give you one. Paul said it's better to be with the Most High, but it's needful for him to be here with us, with you. He would rather be in the heavens, right? But he said it's needful that I be here. Why? To teach you, to guide you on how to walk. Now, what was he doing? Well, he was giving up the things that he wanted, which were the heavenly things, to be here on earth, dealing with the earthly things. Sacrifice. It's not about my own agenda. Not about my own well-being and my own necessities, but what is needful for the body. See, if we all adapt that mind state of the things that are needful, there'd be a lot less confusion in the camp. There'd be a lot less confusion in the house. There'd be a lot less confusion between husband and wife, because let me do what's needful. Let me do what's needed. Let me do my part. If I do my part and it's needed, and they do their part, which is needed, somebody do me one favor, because what's needed right now is this AC to go up. Hit that up 2 degrees. Shivering. Just hit it up 2 degrees for me.
Minister unto.
Yeah, minister unto me with that temperature at 77. Thank you. Y'all hot? Cold? Cold. Yeah. Right? But if we do our part, if we do what's needful in just our office, we'd be able to accomplish so much. But what's one of the problems? Everybody's trying to skip out on what's needful. Trying to skip out on just even the minimalist duties. It's bad, man. The minimalist things, like, I don't see why I need to do that. I don't see why I need to do that. Well, it's needed. What's going to help the functioning of things? What's going to help things, the transition, and make things more smooth? Well, let's do what's needed. You see that? Okay.
But even in the mind of a minister, you can't be like, well, why it always got to be me that do it? Why me? How come someone else can't do it too?
Yeah. Why is it always me? What are other people doing? That don't matter.
It don't matter.
That shouldn't matter if you're here for the right reasons and trying to do the right thing. It should be, well, what can I do? Where can I fit in and do what's needful? And whoever else comes along, it's going to add to it, right? But if I'm sitting back worried about, well, computer, right? Well, let me wait for everybody else to give.
He gave 10. I'm going to give 10 too.
Right. Well, they got $999,000 or $999, so I'm going to give $1. That's how Israel thinks. That's how Israel thinks, though. I'm not going to give what's needed. I'm going to give what I think is needed, or according to what everybody else is doing, because we're looking at the wrong things. So where are we at? Finish that up. Go ahead. Got an hour left.
To supply the means of relief.
The means of what?
Of relief.
Yes, it's about relieving one another. Alleviating situations. That's what ministering is about. How do I alleviate the burdens of the brothers and sisters? Well, if you're alleviating a burden off somebody, what are you doing with that? You taking it off. If I take it off, and what am I doing with it? Is it just whoop? Share. I'm taking it on myself.
Yeah.
I'm now burdening myself with the burden. To alleviate, I'm taking that on. Y'all see that? But that's the problem, where we don't want to take on each other's burdens. We don't want to take on the things that each other has to deal with because we just don't want to. I'm trying to figure out why. Selfish, naive, young, selfish. I'm going to say selfish one more time.
Self-centered, which is
Selfish. Right? But you don't get nowhere in that mind state. Go from there. Go to 1 Corinthians.
1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Let a man so account of us as of the ministers of Hamashiach.
Right. Well, how can we be accounted as the ministers? Well, a man is going to account of us because we went through these things. They seen it. Go ahead.
And stewards of the mysteries of the Most High.
Go ahead. Verse 2.
Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful.
That a man be what?
Found faithful.
Right. Now, faithful in what? And faithful why? And faithful for how long? See, this is the mind state that a minister has to have, that I got to be faithful in all the things we just read. Right? All the things that we just read, I have to be faithful in those things, knowing what? That a lot of those things can befall you. Right? But I can't, when they do come, buckle up. I got to keep pushing forward. That if I'm going through these things, like Paul, like the apostles, like the prophets, like Christ, they went through these things, and what happened? Well, it says in Ecclesiasticus 2, what man trusted in the Lord? And he said, look at the men of old. Whoever trusted in the Lord and was forsaken. You see that? The faith is that I'm doing these things through the trust of the Most High in Christ. And in necessities, it ain't going to be that big of a necessity. In fasting, it ain't going to be that long. Right? Might be a day. Right? In persecutions and peril, it's not going to be as bad as it can be. The faith is that the Most High got me because I'm doing for Him. You see that? That has to be the mind state. Go to Romans 12:1. This also has to be the thing that we're faithful in also. A minister has to be faithful in this. Romans 12:1. We go here all the time.
Romans chapter 12, verse 1.
Right?
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Right. Now, again, we always go about the living sacrifice, and it's like, give yourself. Well, let's spin it a little bit and put a little twist on it. That living sacrifice, because we know a sacrifice is what? What is a sacrifice?
Knowing you're going to lose.
Huh?
Knowing you're going to lose out on something.
Okay, knowing that you're going to lose, but what is it? What is a sacrifice? When you sacrifice something, what is it?
You're willing to lose.
Right, but
I was just gonna say maybe something that's dear to you or something that you cherish that you have to give up.
right. Remember Isaac and what was it? Abraham and Isaac, right?
Yeah.
What?
Giving up something so that another can receive.
Right? Or think about it. You're giving up something that you don't have to give. You're literally giving. That's what a sacrifice is. You're giving up something that you don't have it to give. Let's think about Abraham and Isaac.
Right.
He was going to sacrifice his son that he didn't have another son to bring forth the prophecies. Right? So you're giving up something that really you don't have. I know it sounds strange because you really do have it. That's the thing. I ain't got no time. Well, let's re-examine your time. Because you spend a lot of times doing this, doing that, but I ain't got time to study. Really? Because every time I call you, you just coming up out of a nap. Every time I talk to you, it's like, what you doing? You ain't got no time to study. Okay, let's reevaluate. So in the mind, there's something I don't got to give. I don't have it to give. Right? I only got $1. I can't give. Well, no, there's 50 cents in $1. There's 4 quarters in $1. Then there's 100 pennies in $1. Then there's, you know what I'm saying? 10 dime pieces in $1. So what you want to give out that $1? 20 nickels in $1. So how many nickels you want to give, or quarters or pennies? However you break it down, you can give something. But the mind is like, well, no, I can't give it. Right? So we always talk about this living sacrifice and give and give and give and give and give. But how about look at it this way also? The living sacrifice, because a sacrifice is something that is given. And we know in our time, a sacrifice was something that was killed, that was destroyed. Right? You gave the sacrifice, the priest killed it, or you killed it, and that animal was destroyed. How about your living sacrifice be the destruction of your mentality, your old mentality? See, a minister has to be in the mind of constantly destroying them old demons in him, that old man, and constantly fighting them old spirits that say, nah, you ain't got to do that. Nah, you ain't got to give that. Nah, you ain't got to be there. Just sleep in. Right? How many of y'all get hit with that demon? Just sleep in.
God.
Right? Yeah, nah, you don't feel like doing nothing today.
You're tired.
Right. Right, you're tired.
You're tired.
Hey, Shalom, you're tired.
Yeah.
The demon speaks Hebrew to you. You're tired out. Hey, sis, you ain't got it today. You ain't in the mood today, sis. Right? Just tell them you ain't in the mood. Just tell them you sick.
Right.
Tell them you sick today. You ain't got to go to the mall. Right? You ain't got to work today. Just tell them you sick. Right? Shalom. Shalom. Right? You drink some milk so you can build up some phlegm in your throat. Shalom. What's good? I got that Rona. Really? Sound real clear to me. What's going on? What'd you eat? Nothing? Oh, okay. How you feel? Body aches. Okay, go ahead, do your thing. The living sacrifice, remember, he said a living sacrifice. But how can you live and sacrifice at the same time? How can you live and die? Like watch, let's go to the definition of sacrifice. Go scroll down real quick, I'm going to show you. All right, so I just want you to, read what's there.
To offer to God in homage or worship by killing and consuming.
By killing. You see that? By killing something. So how can I live and die at the same time? If I'm a living sacrifice, what does that mean? Well, the body is living, right? My body is living, but what's dying? What's dying?
Those old thoughts.
Right, the old man, the old woman, that lazy, disgruntled, unfaithful, niggard in all of us.
Can I say something?
Of course you can. You got more to add to lazy, disgruntled, niggard?
All of it.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning of that verse, how it says, Paul says, by the mercies of the Most High, it is a mercy to be a living sacrifice. Because if you think about it like this, right? If you think about, like, even going to the definition, it's like, okay, you don't put yourself as a sacrifice. Oh, chopped, done, dead, no more, can't do it no more. Whatever you died with, like the scripture said, let the just be unjust still, let the righteous be righteous still. Well, if you don't think that you made up enough, or that you actually became that glistening new man or new woman, well then, you don't have no more time to atone for it. You don't have no more time to sacrifice. You have no more time to change that's the sluggard, the niggerism, the adulterous spirit, because you've sacrificed your life. It's game over, no more. But that living sacrifice, you can continue to better yourself. You can continue to put away And it's a beautiful thing because, like the scripture says, it's a mercy. It's a mercy that the Most High allows us to have so that we can continue to grow. So that we don't have to be that old man, so that we can continue to put away the old thought process. Everything that Quasi was going into. Sips of water.
As I sip, I ain't gonna lie, I'm dry.
I am too.
Right? Go ahead, watch. Read on.
Present your bodies
Right.
a living sacrifice,
Right.
holy, acceptable unto the Most High.
Right, but what's the body without the spirit? Does the Most High want our bodies?
No.
Nah. You don't want it. Think about it. Didn't he have Paul's body? Didn't he have Paul's body? He had Paul's body, right? He could control, like, he came down, he blinded Paul, Saul, right? Didn't he blind him? He had his body. He could do whatever he wanted to his body. What did he want from Saul? Saul, Saul, why kickest thou against the pricks? Right? Is that you, Lord? Yeah, it is me. Why are you persecuting my people? What did Saul have to change? His body? More push-ups?
His mind.
His mind. His mentality had to change. What's that?
It reminds me of when it says that the Most High, I can raise stones to worship me.
Right.
If Most High just wanted a body, that's the equivalent of just having the stone.
Yeah.
He wants the spirit.
He wants the mind.
Right.
He wants the mind because the mind controls the body, but what is the mind? What is the body with a disgruntled or destroyed mind, with a impure mind? Right? Is that or with a defiled mind? To the pure all things are pure, but to the defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. So I gotta change the mind. Right? Yeah, present your body, right? But the mind has to be changed along with the body. Go ahead.
Which is your reasonable service.
Watch, and this is how you know it's about the mind. Read verse 2.
And be not conformed to this world.
Conformed where though? Because many brothers and sisters have done this work in the wrong mind. And how do we know? Because they ain't here. They back online, smoking blunts, running through women, being little whores, little thotties, right? Back on drugs. You see it. And talking about, I'm a god, but you getting high? Like, show me what god got high, except for the gay Egyptian gods. Right? Show me which gods was out there getting high, except for the gay ones in Kemet. The hermaphrodites in Kemet. Those are the only gods I know that was getting high on something. Right? But it's showing you, don't be conformed. Well, what about us conforms? It's your mentality. Go ahead.
But be ye transformed.
Here it is. Go ahead.
By the renewing of your mind.
Right, so the sacrifice ain't got nothing to do with your body per se. The body is going to be there. It has to be there for the mind to be there. Right? You got to show up, is what that's saying. Present your body. Show up. But now, what about the mentality that you're in? Well, the mentality is what we read in 2 Corinthians 6. You see that? That's the mentality that I have to be in to know what I'm going to go through as a minister, as a servant. Because that's what we all are at the end of the day. I'm here to serve y'all. Y'all are here to serve me. We're here to serve each other. We're here to serve the nation. Y'all are being trained on how do I serve the nation. You see that? That's the training. Sisters, you're being shown how through serving your husband. You're being shown this is how I gotta be a good servant to the nation. Serving, your children. Think about how much service you do to your children. You service your children in everything. You cook for them, you feed them, you bathe them, you damn near chew their food and swallow it for them. Right? They poop, you wipe their butt. They everything they need, you do. Even as they get older, you still, nope, don't do this. Nope, don't do that. No, look, let me make sure I cook for you. You stop cooking for Benaiah because he's a certain age? No, right? You're still ministering to him. What is he, 15? What is he, 18 now? How old is this guy? Right? What is he, 30? No. What is Benaiah, 13? 13, right? Cook his own damn food. At 13.
Yes, I was.
Right?
Cook for yourself,
But-
you got to clean your own
But guess what? Moms are still going to be moms. Right? Dad is still going to be dad. But those servicing moments, those are the things that teach us that you should be expanding that ministry, that servitude out from just your house or from your own situation. It should be, what do you need? 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 That should be the conversation, the mentality. What's needed, right? The mind should be what's needed. I'm giving my body to do the things that are needed, but if my mind is not on board, then guess what? That's going to catch up to my body. I'm going to stop doing. Commit thy works to the Lord, and thy what should be established. Finish the scripture. We're going to play a game. Commit thy works to the Lord, and thy what should be established?
Thoughts.
No.
Thoughts.
Thy thoughts. So if I commit my body, the thought is, my thoughts would start establishing and seeing what my body is doing, like, oh, damn, I get that now. I see why that, right? Well, for some, it don't catch up. They'll commit their body, but their mind is still on, I don't know about this. Their mind is still on, wonder why we do it like that. Wonder what they want from me. I wonder. The mind is still wondering. Yeah.
No.
You look like you had something very interesting to say.
Oh no, I'm wondering.
I'm wondering up here. You're gonna get lost, right? But the mind has to catch up. Go ahead.
That ye may prove what is that good.
Right, because it's easy to be in the body, but if your mind ain't there, what are you really showing? When you disappear, you're showing like, wait a minute, there was something that wasn't good there. Something wasn't right. Well, the wasn't right was you, first and foremost, because you're trying to do the works in the body, but thinking about the ganja, right? Or thinking about riches and money. And why am I saying these things? How do I know? Well, because the proof is there. The proof is on Facebook, right? The proof is in the conversations that we have with ex-gangster thug Israelites. Those ex-thugs, those I'm gonna die for Christ killers. It's like, man, you see it like, man, I got to get this money, right? Got to get this money. Everybody got COVID, but you sharing blunts.
Right.
Ew.
Come on, man.
The fire knocks it out.
Niggas got COVID and you sharing blunts.
The fire knocks it out.
Yeah, the smoke cleanses it, brother. Right? Like, come on. But you can see it in the mentality through their works. Their works are on what they're. You see that? They go back to that's why it says, be not conformed, right, by this world. But that's what happens. They're reconformed by the world because their mind never changed from the world. They never changed into what's necessary for the body. They're like, I know what's right for my body. Right. I just want to work out, smoke blunts, hit a few women, drive in nice cars, make some money, and live life, right? Some women, I just want to sit at home, watch novellas, eat bonbons, right? Let them come through, break my back, have a few babies, be lazy, and that be that, right? Live off food stamps. Like, damn, really? That's your ambition? Believe it or not.
Yep.
Some women live like that. They have that mind. But when you're like, no, sis, you can do it. No, look, the Bible, the scriptures, the wisdom, your mind, take initiative, push yourself. They're like, yeah. Their hands are moving, right? The machine is like, right? They got the headband coming out and the armbands is coming out and the tunic, they're making a whole cake. You hear that machine, but their mind is like, shit, this would have been a nice stripper outfit.
Oh my God.
Right? This would have been nice in the club. Just cut that off, cheeks hang. Their mind is like on the club, right? Their mind is on something totally different. The machine is going though. However the machine sound. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? The machine is going, right? But the mind ain't with the machine. With the sewing machine. They're making all the beautiful garments. Their mind ain't in it though. Because their mind is somewhere else, but the body is there. After a while, it catches up. Then they end up right back on Snapchat, right back on Instagram, partying in the club, being a bottle girl, right? What is it when they pour the drink in your mouth, right from the bottle? Whoredom is what I call it. I call it being a hoe. But what is it when they have the actual spout that they pour? Oh. They pour it right in your mouth?
It's chugging, but
Nah, there's a name for it.
yeah, there's a name.
I call it hoe. That's what I call it. I mean,
I don't remember.
A waterfall?
right?
It's like a little thing.
It's a little spout, and they use it to pour like whiskey or shots.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they pour it right in your damn mouth. I call that gonorrhea.
Yeah.
It's something. I don't know. But it ain't nothing good. But you right back to that. Because why? Your mind didn't catch up to the works. Right? So where we at? Go ahead.
And that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
Go to sacrifice definition 2. To destroy.
To destroy,
Right?
surrender, or suffer to be lost for the sake of obtaining something.
See, this is cute. This is key. This, to destroy, to surrender for the sake of obtaining something. So I'm giving up one thing for another. So I'm giving up one mentality for another mentality. I'm giving up the world's thinking for the spiritual thinking. A lot of us ain't ready to sacrifice on that level. You see that? A lot of us are not ready to give up the world's mentality of how to handle things and how to do business and how to conduct our life. So it's hard to even be that living sacrifice, because that's what it's talking about. That's the living sacrifice. You have to change your mind, right? So
Free your mind.
you got to free it. Come on, Neo. Jump, right? Jump program. Load them up, right? To devote with a loss, to destroy, to kill, destruction. Surrender or loss made or incurred for gaining some object or for obliging another. Anything destroyed. That's what a sacrifice is. Anything destroyed. But how can I be a living sacrifice if I'm being destroyed? Well, we know it's here that's being destroyed to bring the body into the right mind. The old man is being destroyed. Y'all get that? So we know that the sacrifice is the mentality first. It's mental. So we went through the sacrifice. Write down. Sacrifice is a mentality. Sacrifice has to be in your mentality first. It has to be here in the mind. You have to set your mind. Remember, we always go through Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, right? When you come to serve the Lord, when you come to minister, it should just say when you come to minister to the Lord, when you come to be a brother, when you come to be a sister, when you come to be a husband, when you come to be a wife, when you come to be a child, right? When you come to be a cousin, when you come to be an oil salesman, when you come to be a truck driver, when you come to be, what is it? What do they say? I come to congregate. When you come to congregate, when you come for feast days, right? When you come for counsel, when you come to learn, when you come to grow, right? Prepare your soul for temptation. Why? Because there's no way you get all those things without serving. When you come to serve the Lord, right? That's what we forget. We're coming to serve the Lord, not ourselves. We think, oh, when I show up around brothers, it's whatever. No, the Bible says when you come to serve. And did I read? Somebody go there, because maybe I forgot. I ain't read Ecclesiasticus 2 in a minute.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1.
Right?
If thou come to serve
Right.
the Most
I
High.
know I wasn't tripping. If you come to serve the Lord, if you come to be a minister, if you come to sacrifice, prepare for temptation. But that's the mind. If I'm here, that means I'm here to serve, man. I'm here to give what's needed. Not, well, you know what? Well, I know y'all need, 50, but I only got 5. I'm only gonna give 5. I know what y'all need, but I don't know. Lord needs, but He'll forgive me. He'll have mercy on me. Maybe, maybe not. But what are you gonna get for your 5? The Most High requires 50. What are you gonna get for your 5? He wants a 50 mentality. You want a 5 mentality. What you gonna get for your 5? You probably get 3.
Right.
You probably get a 2 on the Richter scale. He ain't gonna get. But the sad part is we be wanting 100 from the Lord. We be wanting 100 from the Most High. Yahweh, protect me, bless me, give me this, give me that. You asking for 100 worth of things
For your 5.
but you only giving a 5 effort. And then you got the nerve to be like, man, I'll never get what I want. Well, because you don't give what's needed. You don't give what's needed. Right? Go to 2 Corinthians 4:16. So sacrifice is mental. It's your mentality first. 2 Corinthians 4:16. Time in the day. Go ahead.
2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16.
Go ahead.
For which cause we faint not.
Go ahead.
But though our outward man perish.
Right. So that outward man perishes. Go ahead.
Yet the inward man is renewed day by day.
Because that living sacrifice, that inward man is supposed to be replenished day by day. Meaning what? The outward man, he's going to get knocked down. That worldly man, he's supposed to die daily. The inward man after Christ, after the law, he's supposed to be renewed and refreshed through the word. He's supposed to be renewed through the things that approve us, through the perils, through the afflictions, through the necessities, through the fasting. Like, think about it. When you go on a fast, who felt good during this Day of Atonement? Like, literally, like, the fast was like, cool. I'm here, I'm locked in, my mind is in it. Come on, right? But it's supposed to, after you break the fast, you're supposed to reflect back and say, man, I see why that's necessary.
Yeah.
I see why that's needed. I see why I got to fast more often. Not that I get good at fasting, but he said I afflict my spirit with fasting. I afflict my flesh, right? What's the point of afflicting the flesh? What's the point? What's the point of the Most High saying no food and no water for a day?
So basically you can know how to fight your flesh better in those situations because you're doing it.
Right. So you can fight. So you can know, okay, it's good for me to fight. That I have some fight in me. But if I never ever put myself in that little arena, then you'll never know.
Right.
You'll never know what you're made of. You see that? But how does that inward man get refreshed? And how does that old nigger die? If you don't put the old man to a test, if you don't battle that old man and knock his ass down, then you would never think that you could win, right? You would think like, man, I'm just weak, I'm whack, I'm this, I'm that. But the renewing comes through the situations that we go through. Y'all get that? It comes through the sacrifice. It comes through the putting yourself. Watch. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment.
Yeah, the light affliction. You have not suffered unto blood, striving against sin. The little bit you got to give, the little bit we have to give up, which is just change your thoughts, change your mind, change your mentality. It's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen. Nothing happens overnight. Nothing good anyway. But if you just stay consistent, if you just stay diligent, it's going to happen. And the light affliction, the little bit of trial and tribulation that you have to go through, it does what? Go ahead.
Worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
Yeah, and that's what we're supposed to be looking for. That when I sacrifice, the Most High ain't going to leave me high and dry. Well, you know why you scared? Because you think the Most High is going to leave you high and dry. Man, I want the Most High to leave me out here. I heard a brother say that, like, man, I just don't want to get left out there. The Most High ain't never left nobody out there, only the wicked.
Right.
And even them, he said it rains on the just and on the unjust, right? Even they get rain. Even they getting blessed. Even they getting and being able to make it through this life. So how much more us? How much more? He said he clothed the lilies of the field, the birds, the sparrows, right? He gives them all food. What do they say in the world? Even a trash can gets a bone. Even a trash can gets a steak.
I've heard that.
Yeah, even a trash can gets a steak. You never, bro, but think about it.
I heard even a blind squirrel will
get a nut?
Yeah.
But even a trash can will get a steak. Just think about it. Somebody's gonna throw away a steak, and that trash is gonna be in that trash. right? Or another man's trash, another man's treasure. But even a trash can gets a stake. So how much more us that are willing to put ourselves in these situations to minister? How much more will the Most High open up doors and say, you know what? Yeah, you got to get touched. You know why you got to get touched? You know why you got to go through that light affliction? To keep us humble. Because if it was too easy, everybody be sign me up. Hebrew Academy, sign me up. Street, sign me up for this. Sign me up for that, right? We all be just getting signed up. There'd be a bunch of Hebrew Academy commitments lined up. We lined the podium,
Oh, yeah.
right? With brothers' signatures. But why? Where are they at even, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Yashikar, you know, he doing what he got to do for the camp. Right? And then we got other brothers. But how come we don't have tens of thousands of men lined up, ready to serve Christ? Because not everybody wants to get afflicted. Again, nobody's waking up like, affliction, what you want for breakfast? Affliction, please. With a big cup of OJ.
Yeah, with a side of tribulation.
No, right, nobody's asking for that. Niggas is like, man, I want it easy. I need it, when you say flat the path, right? Make the way straight.
Make the way straight.
Right? You like, flat the path, make the way straight, no affliction. Lord, I don't want to go through nothing. Huh? How the hell are you going to learn?
Help me to get to it.
How are you going to learn? David said it. He said, I love that you afflicted me so I can love thy law. So how are you going to learn anything if you don't get a little light touch? A little light. Let me take you through some things to remind you. A little refresher. A little reminder. A little pre-warning. Because that's what the afflictions are. It's a refresher course. It's a warning. It's a pre-warning. It's a forewarning. It's a, remember that one time? Remember that? Right? And you're like, oh, damn. Okay, I see where this is going. Let me course correct. You see that? That's all it is. But we're like, no, I don't want that. Go ahead.
Verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen.
See, a true minister don't look at the things that are seen. A true servant ain't looking at the things that are seen and what's directly in front of them. Go ahead.
But at the things which are not seen.
Woo! That boy's spicy. Go ahead, read.
For the things which are seen are temporal.
See, the things that are seen are temporal, man. And that's what we get caught up in, the temporal. What I can touch and taste.
The here and now.
The here and now. What I can touch, taste, I call them tangibles. This tangible, I can see it, I can taste it, touch it, smell it, lick it. So it gotta be real. That gotta be it, right? Go ahead.
But the things which are not seen are eternal.
The spirit, man. The spirit of things. Because when sisters, I want to use sisters real quick. When sisters throw garments together, and you know, from a distance you look, you're like, oh my God, that's a tight garment. That boy is fire, right? But then when you get close, and you start to, you know, I'm an examiner. I start examining edges. I'm like, hold up, okay. And then you look and you're like, damn, that line was straight. There's spirit in it. Right? That's how you know. Right? Especially if they've been doing it for a while. You're like, that don't seem like her work. What's going on with her? Something's going on. You can look at the works and say, wait a minute. There's a spirit behind it. You see that? There's a spirit. There's a lack of spirit, or the spirit is with this person. You look at the things that they do. You look at their works. You see that? So it's not about always the things that you can see. Sometimes the things that you see will determine the things that you can't see, if that makes sense. Yeah. You can't see a person's spirit right then and there. They may be dealing with something, and the work, the finished product will show, wait a minute, they weren't in the right mind when they were doing this. You see that? Right. So, after we get the mental part down, what happens? Well, that physical part is easy. After I get my mind wrapped around the things that I may have to deal with as a minister, it's easy to put myself in those situations. It should be. It should be easier. Go to Acts. So write down the physical sacrifice comes easier. The physical sacrifice is now continuing. Just like when we deal with these, check this out. This is going to be some cold scriptures. Just how the apostles rolled and the mentality that they had to have dealing with the people just to get them the word. Just to get them the Bible. Just to get them to understand who Christ really was. Right? The things they had to put themselves in, the situations. Again, show me where Paul woke up and prayed to be in prison. He didn't, but guess what? He was. Where did he wake up and say, you know what, Lord, today I feel like being shipwrecked. You know what? That just floats my boat. Unfloat my boat, Lord, and shipwreck me today. Like, he didn't do that. Or you know what? I feel like standing in front of 5,000 people and damn near, and you put I'll stand in front of them and teach, and you put the spirit on them to kill me.
Right.
How about that? How about that, Lord? Sign me up. Right? He was running from that. But not these men. And we got to understand that we can't run from our part either. So read Acts 15:25.
Acts chapter 15, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed good unto us, being assembled
Right.
with one accord,
Go ahead.
to send chosen men unto you with our beloved Barnabas and Paul.
Go ahead.
Men that have hazarded.
They have what?
Hazarded.
Now, when you hear the word hazardous, you're like, whoa. Skull and bones, hazardous material, right? Waste. Things that are going to destroy you, right? Danger. It said these men literally hazarded what? Their lives. They literally say, you know what? We'll do that. Oh, they coming up against? Well, guess what? We got to go do what we got to go do. You see that? I got to give up? Well, guess what? It doesn't matter what I have to give. I have to give what's necessary. Now, did every apostle die? Like some gory death? Was everybody beheaded like John the Baptist? Was everybody sawed in half? Was everybody hung upside down? No, not all. Right? They didn't all die some crazy death. Not everybody was stoned like Stephen. Right? Not everybody was crucified like Christ. You see that? So not everybody had to go through that level of, if you want to deal with, I'm giving up to death. Not everybody did that. But remember one thing. What did he say we are? What did he say we are? We just read it. The what? So you know you ain't going to die. That's the coldest part, ain't it? That's cold as hell to me. Like, you ain't got to die, Holmes. You ain't got to die, essay. Right? You just got to give. Right? You just got to keep giving. And it may feel like you're dying because, man, now I'm in a hazardous situation. But are you? Are you? Some of us think that we are. You know why you're in a hazardous situation or why you feel like that? Because you haven't put yourself in a situation to minister to the point where now you need to be ministered unto. See, there's like an ebb and flow of I minister, but then somebody ministers to me. And then I minister, and I'm going to give all that I can, and I'm going to feel like I ain't got enough to give, and then somebody's going to pour it right back into me, and they're going to give all they can, and they're going to feel the way I felt 6 months ago. Then I'm going to have to come back and pour right back into them, and it's going to be this constant back and forth. And really, it's just you going through what you're going through at the time, and they're here, ready to pour here. And they go through what they go through, and you're ready to pour back. But see, where does it get messed up at? Where does this get messed up?
Lack of communication.
Well, that's part of it. He's not 100% wrong. That's part of it. But it messes up where a person decides that I'm going to take my cup and run. Nigga, my shit full. I'm out. Blunts, women, thoughts, they're all calling me over here. So my cup, it's full now.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, the water. shalom, right? And then you left high and dry, like, oh damn, well, I thought you was gonna get that back. I need that now, right? But then somebody else has to come in and do what? Okay, well, no matter what, still gonna get what you need, right? Because there's gonna be somebody. The Most High don't leave us comfortless. Right. Boom, 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 right? It just makes it a little bit more strenuous. Yeah. And the more you go through that, the more you're like, what's the point? What's the point of this? Right? What's the point of doing this and then somebody's like, I'm good. I'm over here. And you still gotta, and then the next person, I'm good. I don't see the benefits in that. I don't see why I have to pour back into a person. Meaning what? Well, it's like, I'll use Lacquerau for an example. And it's funny how it worked too. I remember there was a time he just had his first baby, and he was in the mall working. His rib had to go to work. So where was his daughter? Where was your daughter?
At your house.
For how long?
A year.
Right. Her first whole year, she was in my house, like damn near. I wouldn't say every day, but the majority of the days she was there. When he wasn't off, she was there. No problem with it. No problem at all. Right? She would come. I just had to wake up a little early, deal with her, and that was my buddy. Right? I made a little bond with little Shariah. Now, years down the line, about a year later, I'm in a situation where, okay, I need somebody to pick my kids up in the morning for school, pick them up from school, and watch the little one. Who is it? Lock her out. Because I was doing that to him, putting it for him. He didn't dip off and say, well, got my cup filled. He was ready there to do the same for me and give back. You see that? And that's where it makes it easier, where we understand that at any time I have to be ministered to, but at any time I'm gonna have to be ministering. It changes, the role changes. Yeah. That's the mentality. Y'all see this? But that's just one. I could go through situation after situation after situation after situation after situation. But why can I go through all these situations? Because my mind wasn't, well, look, I got what I need taken care of, I'm up. You see that? So there's going to always constantly be situations. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 27. We have sent, therefore, Judas and Silas.
Read verse 26 one more time.
Men that have hazarded their lives for the name of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach.
2 Corinthians 11 and verse 23. 2 Corinthians 11 and verse 23.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
Are they ministers of Hamashiach?
I mean, are they? See, this was Paul going in. Are they ministers? Well, they're saying they are. Go ahead.
I speak as a fool.
Yeah, I speak as a fool. Like, I shouldn't even have to say this. Go ahead.
I am more.
He said, I'm more of a minister. I gave myself more. Go ahead.
And labors.
Right.
More abundant.
Go ahead.
And stripes.
Read.
Above measure.
Go ahead.
And prisons.
Uh-huh.
More frequent.
Right.
And deaths off.
Now, was Paul sitting there like comparing himself, like I'm better because I got locked up more, my nigga? I'm more of a thug? Nah, he wasn't, but he putting certain cats in check because they were propping themselves up like, see, I'm on a level. And Paul had to remind that, wait a minute, if you thought you was on a level, well, just through my everyday workings, I'm on a higher level. Not that I'm boasting about being locked up, but I did that already. Right. I made that happen, right? That happened just off a byproduct of the way I'm moving. See, it wasn't a bragging thing. It was a, I'm doing work thing. I'm willing to give what's necessary thing, and whatever befalls me, befalls me. It just so happened I got locked up more than you. Right. It just so happened I took more stripes than you. It just so happened that I got in prison more than you, and death's off, and perils between brethren and sister, and I dealt with more false niggas than you. It just so happened through all the works. Was he bragging? No. Was he putting things in perspective? Yeah. But see, our mind, the perspective of our mind should be not, well, you know what? I'm going through these things, so now I'm on a level. It should just be, listen, whatever comes with the job. The company, they say it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Right? When we go out there day to day, we don't know what the hell's going to happen. In any arena. In any arena. I look like every bald black dude. Right? I fit the description of every bald black dude with a beard. You look like somebody. Oh, I've had people come to me like, is your name something? I'm like, no. Man, you look so familiar. And I'm like, I don't even live in this state. How many times that happened to me in Rochester? Like, man, you used to go to such a... I'm like, no, I didn't go. I'm not even from here. I look like every nigga with a bald head and a beard. So my point is this. Right, a little bit tall, right? My point is this. I can fit the description at any time of any crazy crime that happens. Right? My vehicle can fit the description at any time. I don't know what's going to happen when we step out in them streets, but we know if we carry ourselves with wisdom, there's going to be a good outcome. Or there might be an outcome that might not be so favorable. Brothers still get pulled over and get tickets, right? Brothers still don't pay tickets and get locked. All that still happens, right? Go ahead.
Of the Jews, 5 times received I 40 stripes, save one. Thrice was I beaten with rods.
Read.
Once was I stoned. Thrice.
Go ahead.
Thrice I suffered shipwreck.
Go ahead.
A night and a day I have been in the deep.
Read.
And journeyings often.
In many journeys, man. Paul took many trips. Go ahead.
And perils of water.
Right.
And perils of robbers.
Now, after the first shipwreck, niggas, I'm not going on no boat.
Oh, yeah, that's done.
Right? After the first shipwreck, like, who's going to hop that? Like, hell no, I ain't doing that. He said he was shipwrecked 3 times.
3 times.
Titanic?
Yeah, I'm good on that. 8 days in the deep. Yeah, I'm good, right? After the first one, you give up. You got, I'm finished. But see, Paul's mind wasn't like, yo, I'm not doing that again. He said, look, it got to be the will of the Lord. That's the will of the Lord for me to be shipwrecked 3 times. Got your own people beating you?
Yeah. Robbie.
You got your own people that whooped you. What would that do for you? Well, I ain't going to go deal with my people no more. What did Paul do? Nope, got to go deal with them. I gotta go to Corinth. I gotta go to Philippi. I gotta go to Galatia. I gotta go Macedonia. I gotta go here to Rome. I gotta go to these different places. After the first lashings, he couldn't just be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Remember, when he first got met up with the apostles, they didn't even want to deal with him.
Yeah.
They were scared, like, this nigga is killing people. I'm good, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not the same guy. But you don't think they held a little bit of skepticism? Until they saw his works. How long did that mindset have to dissipate in them? And Paul's still got to move a certain way, like, nah, I can't worry about that. I can't worry about how they feel. I just got to keep moving. I just got to keep proving, right? Because that deters you. They're looking at me weird. They think I'm going to do something. I don't want to be around them, right? Go ahead.
And perils by my own countrymen.
Read.
And perils by the heathen.
Listen, when you read in Acts, and it tells you they'd be teaching in a city, and the whole country would come against them.
Rise up against you.
Bro, it wasn't like they packed up their books and went back home.
No.
They were like, next city.
Yeah, next
And in that city, we gained 5,000 souls. Then we went to the next city, and 5,000 people want to kill us. Then we went to the next city, and we gained 3,000. So, like, and many men were added to the Lord that day. Like, that's what you hear. You don't hear, oh, I'm deterred because these niggas is hard-headed. No, I'm going to give what's necessary. Go ahead.
And perils in the city.
Right.
And perils in the wilderness.
Man, because the city, bro, I can't go up in that city. It's rough. I can't, I done heard some things about that city. No, you go where it's needed. You go where it's needed, man. We go to any city. Right? You go to any city. Because in my opinion, they all the same, brother. They all the same. You got your good parts, you got your bad parts, you got your hood, you got your barrio, you got your good, little Edomite areas. And you just got to find your little nooks and your little crannies and just get by. Stay out the way. Make yourself small. But Paul, because they went into the city and got into it one time, he was like, I'm never going to go to the city again. I ain't dealing with that. Go ahead.
And perils in the sea.
Right.
And perils among false brethren.
Right.
And weariness and painfulness.
Right.
And watchings often. and hunger and thirst, and fastings often,
Right?
and cold and nakedness.
Read. See,
Beside
I
those,
can't do this work because they got me out here naked. And it's cold. Nah. Listen, if you, all you got to do is Google the map of Paul, just say Paul's journeys. Just Google it. And all you'll see is back and forth from Jerusalem to Rome, all the way into those islands, Pathros, Greek islands. That's all you'll see is this back and forth. Listen, he would go and teach and then leave just for the feast and go back to Jerusalem. Go right back for the feast day and then slide right back. Right? But what that sound like? What that sound? Oh, we in Rochester, we got a feast, let's go to Virginia and then slide right back.
Yep.
Right? Or we over here, let's slide out for the feast day and let's slide right back. And is it always some glorious trip? 14 hours on the road is whack. Especially when you got to hop back on and then do it the next day. Flat tires, gas. I have to name all the things that can prevent us from traveling. It's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. But do we sit back and say, well, we can't sacrifice the little gas to make it? I've never ever turned down any trip anywhere because of gas or because of money. Like, I ain't got it. Well, I'm going to have to ride with somebody. Right? I'm going to have to, listen, I'll co-pilot. I'll ride with you. Go half on gas. Something. But what I'm trying to show y'all is there's a sacrifice on every level, no matter what. Even if you want to congregate, you got to sacrifice. Right? People love you just congregating. I'm just here to congregate. Okay, well, there's going to be a sacrifice. Go ahead.
verse 28. Beside those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches.
So, Paul had to go through all these things and still worry about his 7 churches. And his own cares that came on him daily. Damn, I gotta eat, gotta brush my teeth. I need to be clean, I need to bathe. Still worry about the 7 churches and still go through all this nonsense. It's easy to say, you know what, I'm good. 1 Corinthians 4:9. First Corinthians 4:9.
1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9.
Right?
For I think that the Most High hath set forth us, the apostles, last,
Right?
as it were appointed to death.
To what?
To death.
We hazarded our lives, man. That's what it feels like sometimes. Like, damn, really? But really? Really? I was riding with Shaquat, the other Shaquat, right? I get that mixed up. I was calling Shaquat, Shatak the whole time in VA, or the whole time in Rochester.
Yeah, I heard that.
No. We had slid down to VA, like the first month I got to Rochester, me and him slid down to VA for, this one I went to go get him. After the first month, and we were sitting in front of the little sushi spot. We were sitting there, and I was like, man, we lived the best life. And he looked at me, I was like, bro, we literally lived the best life that a man can live. If you live the right way, though. Not that we're overly rich, not that we're blessed in so many different other ways. Like, just being able to travel the way we travel and be around brothers and sisters and not be constrained by somebody else's schedule. You see what I'm saying? Or just being able to move different pieces around. It's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. I sit back and look at it, I'm like, I've had jobs where I traveled. I've had jobs where I was moving around, and I'm like, it still does not compare because the wisdom that's associated with it also. You see what I'm saying? So, we were sitting there having that conversation. It just hit me. I'm like, man, we live a good life. We live a good life, man. How many people get to raise their children firsthand, right, and still do their job? Right? I get to raise my kids, to be there with them, teach them, still be at service to you all, still do my job, right? But raise my children. You can't show me many jobs that allow you to do that. Many things that allow, like, right? You're gonna be away from the home. You're gonna be out there doing that, giving up your life to that. It's little moments like that I look at.
Even how like we all work, right, and we all have small children, but we don't like necessarily have to have a daycare. Like I like that. You don't have to have random strangers watching your kids not knowing what they're doing.
Right, random strangers, even that. Perfect point. Where, but if we're all, see, the point is though, even with that, the point is that everyone should have the understanding that at any moment, we know we all got small kids. I might have to call anybody up in here like, hey, I need you to watch Mama shop, right? I gotta go do da-da-da-da. Everybody should have that mind state that, man, at any moment, that might have to be me. I might have to babysit for an hour or two. Something might come up, and you may be the last resort, but you're part of the body, so you're a resort. But if you X yourself out of that, like, well, that ain't my kid. You're absolutely right. It's not. You're absolutely right. It's not your kid, right? But it is your kid. If we're a body, if we're a family, if we're a congregation, right? Then I look at the kids as my kids, all of them. I'm gonna discipline them and deal with them like I deal with my kids, right? And I would hope that you would discipline my children and deal with my children and correct my children the way you correct your kid. You see that? So again, it's a mentality. It's here. It's here first. If it's not here, it's not gonna be anywhere. Go ahead, finish it.
4, we are made a spectacle unto the world,
right?
And to angels, and to men.
Go ahead.
We are fools for Hamashiach's sake,
right?
But ye are wise in Hamashiach.
And this is how we're looked at as ministers, as the ones that are fighting and striving and giving up. This is how your family looks at you, like you're a fool. You're not the real Israelites. See, my pastor. I know what your pastor said.
Right.
My pastor says that, my Geno Jenkins said that marriage is da 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 da. I'm like, well, damn what Geno Jenkins said. Geno Jenkins go all the way back to wherever the hell he came from, pimping or wherever the hell he came from. Go ahead.
We are weak, but ye are strong.
This is how we're looked at. Like, we're the weak ones. This is how we're looked at through the eyes of the world, through the eyes of people that are not doing what we're doing. And that's why it sucks for some of y'all, because you're too worried about what people is looking at. You're worried about what people think of you. I don't give a damn what anybody thinks of me. The only people's opinions I take into account is the people in here. That's it. The only opinions that matter to me, him, Kazak, Zion. That's it. Those are the only opinions that when I talk, they listen and then they can steer my mind a certain way or not. That's it. But out there, hell no. I'll look weak. I'll look like I ain't got it together. Man, I'll give y'all one. This one's funny as hell. So I remember I got to Rochester. I was in Rochester for about a month, and I got to put somebody on blast. My ribs mom's husband. He called me. So this is not her dad. This is like her mom's husband, right? No, not even that. Not even that. He just kind of came into the picture. But he hits me up, and I'm like, "Who the hell's calling me from Texas?" Right? He's like, "Oh, this is Dexter." Da, da, da. I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Can you come over to the house? We need to talk." And I'm like, "I'm not in Texas, bro. I'm in New York." He's like, "Oh, well, how about next week?" And I said, "Bro, I'm not gonna be back for 2 months." He was like, "You left the family that long?" I was like, "Yeah, it should be all right. It should be good." So I hit my rib up. I'm like, "Hey, he hit me up. What's going on?" She's like, "I didn't know he was going to, she didn't know." So I said, "Hit your mom up, see what's going on, right?" So he heard, and everybody knows, he heard that we were having another baby. So he automatically gets in the mode of, what does he have set up for his family? I'm like, I'm a grown ass man. It don't matter what I got set up for my family. Oh yeah, like you gonna sit me down and try to son me?
Con.
I'm like, hold up. See, I'm not gonna go all the way in, but See, but the mind is that we're weak, but they're strong. Because they got little 401ks and this policy and that policy. They don't know what policies I got. They don't know what the hell I got going on in my life with my family. They don't know. And it's like, well, you're going to sit me down and coach me? Mm-hmm. You can't coach me because you don't know what's right for my family. But this is the mentality. Go ahead.
Ye are honorable.
Go ahead.
But we are despised.
And I ain't gonna lie, like, it perturbed me a little bit. I was in the mall, I was like,
You gonna leave your mail that long?
I was like, hold up. And I started going through like, wait, hold on, and I started checking off things like, what nigga you want, like, right? I'm in my mind, like, and I was like, you know what? No, it's part of the job. It's part of the job to be looked at like this is some game.
Yeah.
Like y'all are just playing priests, like y'all are just comic book characters just dressing up. Right. It's supposed to be like that for them. We know why we do it. We know it's serious. Right? But their eyes, their mentality is, that ain't real. Just games. Right? Because they see so many people and they're so used to people reneging on their commitments. They're like, oh yeah, next thing he'll be this, next thing he'll be that. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 11. Even unto this present hour,
right?
We both hunger,
right,
and thirst, and are naked,
read,
and are buffeted, and have no certain dwelling place.
You know what's cold about that, and what's real about that is that what it's showing is that any time your circumstance can change. At any time, I gotta move. I've seen brothers do it. I've seen Kazak move. I've seen Kazak move in 5 years, 5 times. I've seen him do it because we and I'm talking about from this nice house to this not so nice house, back to this nice house to this not so nice house to a nicer house. Like I've seen 1 minute vehicle, next minute he ain't got no vehicle. Right, and he's getting right. Like I've seen it. But I had to do it. We've all had to do it. The point is, it's showing you that the temporal things that you can see, they're not certain. We just read that. The cars, the clothes. 1 minute you ain't got enough friend shirts. You look in your closet now, you got 100 friend shirts. You're like, whoa, and you still ain't got the color that you want. It's real weird. No, I'm joking. But it's real. 1 minute you're like, man, I ain't got enough friend shirts. And you look up a couple months later and all of a sudden you got friend shirts galore. Like, you're like, whoa, okay, it's time for me to offload some of these. Circumstances change, but how do you deal with it? How are you being looked at? How do you deal with it? You can't care about how the world looks at you if this is what you're trying to do. Sis, why you always, why are you being submissive to him? Well, who do you want me to submit to? That's what I would ask. But who do you want me to submit to, sis? Because that's how women in the world treat y'all. Why you always dressed like that? Why you bound down to some man? Why this? Why that? It's always negative. And if your mind is not set on, you know what? The world taught me one lesson, but the truth is teaching me another lesson. You'll go back to the world and say, you know what? Well, let me service the devil. That's what happens. You service somebody. You got to be a servant to someone.
Yep.
What y'all thought? You was in the world as a free agent? Hell no. You yield your members to Satan. So now you're yielding your members to Christ. Everybody wants to question you about it. Like, well, what's that about? What you mean, what's that about? Trying to live right. Trying not to be a hoe. Trying not to be out here in these streets.
Trying to get you a taste.
Right? But they're like, no, I want to be out here in these streets. It's fun. Look at my Instagram. It's fun.
It's fun.
Look at it. Look at last night. It's fun. Look at what I did. Right? Go ahead, read.
And labor.
Damn, man, we ain't got enough time. Go ahead.
Working with our own hands.
Right.
Being reviled.
Right.
We bless. Being persecuted.
You see that? Being reviled, we bless. Go ahead.
Being persecuted.
You talk bad about us, but what do? Pray for them. Pray, Yahweh. But you pray for them, man. Go ahead.
We being persecuted, we suffer it.
Right.
Being defamed, we entreat. We are made as the filth of the world.
Go ahead.
And are the offscouring of all things unto this day.
Off scouring, that's when you wash the pot, the burnt up rice, and that little, when you wash it, it just settles at the bottom. That's what that is, the off scouring. Yeah, go ahead.
I write not these things to shame you, but as my beloved sons, I warn you.
I what?
Warn you.
I what?
Warn
See,
you.
these are the warnings that at any moment, this is the life of a minister. At any moment, it seems glorious, but it's not as glorious as it seems, right? But it's not as bad. That's the beautiful part is it's not bad. That's the thing. You just got to have your mindset a certain way. Go to Philippians 2:25. Philippians 2:25.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 25. Yet I suppose it necessary to send to you Epaphroditus, my brother, a companion in labor, and fellow soldier,
Right?
but your messenger, and he that ministered to my wants.
Jump to 30.
Because for the work of Hamashiach,
Right.
he was nigh unto death.
He was what?
Nigh unto
It
death.
said because of the work of Christ, this man was close to death. Meaning that he hazarded his life. He was always in some level of peril or distress. But what was his job? He ministered to the wants of Paul. Right? He didn't stop because he was nigh unto death. He said, look, I'm going to send him to you. I'm going to send him to you, right? To the Philippians, to Philippi. I'm sending him to y'all. This dude is nigh unto death daily, but guess what? He's a good candidate. He's going to keep doing his job. Go ahead.
Not regarding his life.
Read.
To supply your lack.
To do what?
Supply your lack.
And that's where we mess up. We forget that it's about supplying what's lacking. That's all you're doing is just, if we all had the mind, well, let me just do what's needed. That's why he says your light affliction. That's why he says your burden. He said my yoke is light. He said my burden is light. Take ye my yoke. Or did I say that? Right. So why is it light? Well, if we're all doing our part, it evens up the burden. If all hands are on deck and everybody's mind is in the same mind, then no one person is strained down with the weight. Y'all see that? But it's how do I approach the burden? How do I approach the yoke? Where's my mind at? Well, I first got to know that I got to be there. I got to give myself to it. Right? I got to give myself to it. Then I got to do it in the right mind. Because you could be there, right? And it's like, yeah, I'll help you lift. 1, 2, 3, lift. And you like, and the person is like, ugh! They're lifting, veins busting out. Damn, they're catching a hernia. And you like, yeah, I got it. Dum-da-dum. It's not that heavy. What's going on with you? With all the weights being pushed to the front, you like, whoa.
What you were dealing with?
Brothers be doing that to each other on the truck, huh? Yeah, lift, Doc. Yeah, I got it. Brother's fixing his headband, like fixing his face mask. Right? It's like, damn, bro, I thought you was here to help. But see, that's the mind. It can't be this I'm here in body. I got to be here in mind also. My mind. Why am I saying this? Well, my mind has to be aware of what I'm doing. You know why we mess up? We're not aware of what we're doing. We say that we want to do certain things. We say we want to be a part. We say we want to give ourselves, but you're not aware that you really have to do that. You really have to give yourself. Small? What does that mean? Oh,
AC just cut on.
yeah. It needs to be changed, that filter. Right? Go from there. Go to Acts 20 and verse 22. Gotta be changed. Yeah. Moisturization. Acts 20 and 22.
Acts chapter 20, verse 22. And now, behold, I go bound in the Spirit unto Jerusalem,
Go ahead.
not knowing the things that shall befall me there.
See, I believe this was Paul. He was like, listen, I'm going to just go. I don't know what's going to happen. When I went to Rochester, I wasn't like, well, man, I heard some things about Rochester. I can't go. I was like, sign me up. It's like any other city, right? The things that can happen to me in Rochester can happen to me in Houston, right? Or any other city. Nothing should be off limits because of what can happen. And to be honest, Rochester wasn't that bad. I kind of miss it. I miss it. It was nice and cozy. It was nice, easy to get around, right? You pop from here to here, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, man. It was. I liked it. I liked Rochester, man. I just, it's gonna snow, so I had to dip out. But Kazak and them touch that. Right? I like them summer days. Rochester was nice. It had its moments, but it was cool, Acts 20 and 22.
Acts chapter 20, verse 22. And now, behold.
Oh, right. Go ahead.
I go bound in the spirit unto Jerusalem, not knowing the things that shall befall me there.
Go ahead.
Save that the Holy Ghost witnesseth in every city.
The Spirit is in every city. Go ahead.
Save that bonds and afflictions abide me.
Yeah, bonds and afflictions abide me. No matter where you go is what it's saying. No matter what city you're in, no matter what circumstance, they're there. Where good is, evil is also present. Go ahead.
But none of these things move me.
Right.
Neither count I my life dear unto myself.
You see that? And that's the thing. We count our life too dear to ourselves, man. This is my life. This is my this. This is my that. You count things too dear to yourself. So when it's time for you to give what's necessary, it's like ripping teeth out of your mouth with fingers. It's the hardest thing to do, right? It's like trying to pull teeth, but we don't want an extra. This is what's necessary. That's what the Most High wants. Just give what's needed, but extra too, because when you do things to the Most High, you're supposed to do it with all your heart, all your might.
Yeah.
You see that? But we count the wrong things dear to us. Again, it's mentality. It's mentality, right? Am I saying walk to the nearest neighborhood and pick a fight with the first drug dealer you see because the Spirit is with you? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Like run up to the first cat that looks wild and crazy and just start yelling the Bible in his face. I'm definitely not saying that. I ain't saying that. The scriptures say don't tempt the Lord, right? But what I am saying is, if we know that we're called for a mission, what Navy SEAL don't take the job. You signed up to be a Navy SEAL. You got to kill women, children, babies, grandmas, granddaddies, right? What Navy SEAL's like, nah, it's children. I ain't doing that. He's like, nigga, I'm about to go wipe everybody out, right? Or when it's time to press that bomb and blow something up, or they like, oh, women and children. They're like, nope, casualties of war. Right? There's nothing that's contingent on them fulfilling the mission, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Go ahead.
Neither count I my life dear unto myself.
Right.
So that I might finish my course with joy.
Go ahead.
And the ministry which I received of the Lord Yahushua to testify the gospel of the grace of the Most High.
Right. From there, I got to get some of these in. So, Yahushua's mind was to give what was necessary. Go to Matthew 20 and 25.
Come. Matthew chapter 20, verse 25. But Yahushua called them unto him and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them.
Right, because remember, this is when the sons of thunder came. Their mother was like, hey, could you put us at the right hand of the Father? And like, you're going to drink this cup, but I can't promise you the right hand. And then they were like, we can drink this cup. We down. We're ready to sacrifice. And the apostles was like, y'all don't even know what this sacrifice is about. So he said, so Yahushua had to pause. He's like, listen, hold up, easy, right? You know how the Gentiles roll. We can't roll like that. Go ahead.
And they that are great exercise authority upon them.
Go ahead.
But it shall not be so among you.
It should not be so among you. Read on.
But whosoever will be great among you,
right?
let him be your minister.
Let him be your what?
Minister.
Let him be your servant. The greater thy are, the more you humble yourself. Read.
And whosoever will be chief among you.
So if you think you big, if you Mr. Big Pants,
King.
right? I was about to say something else. You think you Mr. Big Pants, right? You think you got it. You think you in there. Well, then guess what? You're supposed to be the chief.
Yep.
The chief minister. Right? If you think you know everything, you're a sister, you know everything, you know how to do this, you know how to do that. But then guess what? Shut up, humble yourself down, and teach everybody else the way. Show them the way. See, that's the problem. Like, I know how to do this, that, and that, and that. But are you willing to train somebody and show somebody and humble to their learning curve? Ooh, nobody wants to do that. See? Because we're impatient. We're impatient. We lack too much patience to sit back and show somebody. How come you ain't getting it on the first try? Well, you're supposed to be the best, so teach somebody how to be the best.
Right.
The best can teach people and bring people along. What made Michael Jordan great? He brought bum teams into the championship and won. What makes LeBron great? Kobe great? Not that they were individual players, but they were able to bring their team along and use the pieces around them and play to their strengths. That's what makes a person great. You see that? It's not that I'm just a great individual or I got it, but can you administer what you have to others? But again, you got to get off the high horse of greatness, right? You have to. Go ahead.
Let him be your servant.
Let him be your servant. Read.
Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto,
Yeah, he didn't come to be served and serviced. Read.
but to minister and to give his life.
And to what?
Give his life.
Read.
A ransom for many.
Because that's what was necessary for the time. But before he gave his life, what did he do? Before Yahushua died, what did he do? He did many things, right?
Yes, he did a lot. He healed the leopards, cleansed the sick.
Right. Well, go to 2 Corinthians 8 and 9.
2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9.
So before he actually put himself on the cross and got strung up, go ahead.
For ye know the grace of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach,
Right.
that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor.
He did what?
Became poor.
Right. For our sakes, he became poor. Right? Where's it at? There's another one that I want. It's go to Matthew's 8:19. Go to Matthew's 8:19. So he was rich, but for our sakes he became poor.
Matthew chapter 8, verse 19.
Right?
And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahushua said unto him,
Right?
the foxes have holes,
Right?
and the birds of the air have nests,
Right?
but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head.
Why did he say that to him? Was he trying to deter him from the mission? Why did he say that to him? With that.
So he knew what he was getting himself into.
So he knew that this life was about, you can follow me wherever the hell you want to. But it's a sacrificial life.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable.
It ain't comfortable. This is a sacrificial life. You can follow me all day, but guess what? You ready to sleep nowhere? You ready to lay your head nowhere? You ready to have no certain dwelling place? Are you ready for that? You have to remind him. He had to put him in the forefront of his mind, like, look, I'm going to set your mind right now.
Right.
The foxes, the birds, they got a place to live. Guess what? You're going to be following me to nothing. I'm poor. I'm just here to teach. I'm here to lay my life down. Right? Go to, I'm going to jump a little bit. Go to Philippians. Excuse me. See, that's why you got to drink water. Go to Philippians real quick. I want you to go to Philippians chapter 3 and verse 10.
Philippians chapter 3 and verse 10. That I may know him.
No, Philippians 3 and 7.
Philippians chapter 3 verse 7. But what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Hamashiach.
So I sacrificed one thing to gain another. Go ahead.
Yea, doubtless.
Uh-huh.
And I count all things.
Without a doubt. Right? Without a shadow of a doubt. Go ahead.
I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahushai, my Lord.
Right. And how many of us are ready to count things as lost, or do we hold too many things dear to us? Go ahead.
For whom I have suffered the loss of all things.
See, I had to suffer the loss of all things to gain on the back end. And that's what we don't realize. Remember, he said it. We read it earlier. Hold on. We read it earlier where he said, where's it at? The things are temporal. You ain't got to go there, but. Right. While we look not on the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. Or the things which are seen are temporal, or the things which are not seen are eternal. You can't see the spirit. You can't see the spirit, and you can't see it afar off as far as how it can change you. You can't see those things. But you can see house, car, clothes, woman, free time, right? You can see all those things. But that growth that a man gets or a woman gets by settling themselves into those fetters, it's hard to see that. Why? Because even those fetters of discipline feel like, why the hell am I doing this? So I got to stay home from the club. I got to stay home from the bar. I got to discipline myself and like shut myself away from family. And yeah, you do. Show me a Buddhist monk that goes to the bar. He ain't really a Buddhist monk. Right? What Buddhist monk, he's Buddha during the day, then he's in bar hopping at night? Getting his jollies off? Nah, he's a Buddha 24/7. Doing him thing, right? Studying, meditating. If he ain't practicing his arts, he's studying, meditating on whatever they read, right? Then the next day, eats his little fish and rice, right? He lives a life of simplicity. He's not worried about how can I bend off over here to appease myself. He's not worried about that. He's not worried about the here and now, but he's worried about the longevity. What am I going to get in the long run if I conform to this lifestyle? Read on.
And do count them but dung.
Read on.
That I may win Hamashiach.
Right.
And be found in him, not having my own righteousness.
See, it's about how do I attain the righteousness of Christ. You can't see righteousness afar off. Right? You don't just be like, oh, that person's righteous. You see it through works, through a time, right? But how do I get that? Where do I put myself to be able to attain that? Go ahead.
Which is of the law.
Go ahead.
But that which is through the faith of Hamashiach.
Right.
The righteousness which is of God by faith.
Go ahead.
That I may know him.
You can't see faith. Like, oh, that's a faithful man. Just by looking at a person. You got to see their works. Right? That's a diligent brother. Like, I can't see diligence on you till you do something. Go ahead.
And the power of his resurrection.
Right.
And the fellowship of his sacrificing.
His
sufferings.
Right.
And the fellowship of his suffering. Being made.
You see that? He said that I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering, his sacrifice, his giving up. I'm fellowshipping with that. Oof. Ooh, 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 ooh. I know. Go ahead.
Being made. Conformable.
I'm having too much fun. Go ahead.
Unto his death.
He said conformable. This is very important. Who knows what it means to be conformable? What's that?
Made into.
Made into? Give me some more.
Well,
conformable.
Conformable is like you're bending into somebody else's. You're turning into Christ. You're conforming into Him.
Okay.
You're bending your will.
So what's the word for that?
Flexible.
What's another word?
What do you mean?
What's another word for conformable? If I can conform to you, what does that mean?
Being able to adapt.
Adapt? I want another word.
Compliant.
I want another word. Y'all all right? What you got?
To mold.
I want another word. You're right.
Submissive.
Bam.
Yeah.
Bam. Right? Submissive. Conformable. I'm submissive to what's needed. Watch. Conformable. Having agreeable, suitable, consistent, compliant, ready to follow directions, submissive, peaceable, disposed to obey.
Disposed to
So
obey.
a minister's mind is conformable, meaning what? I'm ready to get, again, it's about giving what's needed. It's about doing whatever in the moment. So one moment may be one thing, but then another moment is something different. I don't get all perturbed and upset like, well, last week I didn't have to do that, but then this week I got to do that. Like, wait a minute, hold on, what you here for? You here to be a minister?
Right.
How you got that down there like that?
I got my headache's hurt.
Oh,
Yeah.
you didn't drink nothing?
I drink a bottle of water.
You probably need several, man.
Kinda.
But conformable, right? Meaning that not one situation is going to bend me to all of a sudden I'm out the spirit because I wasn't. Y'all know how things happen here sometimes where we'll plan one thing and then last minute it changes. Now, I've been in situations because I used to hate that. Like, man, how come it can't just be one thing? And I remember it'd be like, hey, Shalom, go do this. And I'm like, Con, I'm about to go do it. And I get there and it's like, oh, hey, never mind. And it's like, okay, Con, you hop in the car and then you get down the road and it's like, oh, you go back. And you're like, whoa, hold up. Right? And you got to sit back and say, what is the Most High doing? Well, he's trying to work out of me that stubborn mind that can't be conformable. The mind that can't just go with the flow, be like water. Just go everywhere, just be whatever. You see that? Conformable. Ready to follow directions and submissive. Right? So, what ended there, man? Let me just go to one more. Y'all like, yeah, right. I'll go to 7 more. Conformable. And I got to go here because I think it's a good ending. Go to Acts 4. And you're going to start at 36. And let's deal with it. Like, let's see when we're not ready to be conformed or conformable, there's a repercussion for that. And we got to understand there's a repercussion for everything that we do. When we say we're ready to do something, but we're not ready to do, it's like like they say beggars can't be choosers. But see, the Most High, first of all, he ain't begging you, but he chooses the arena that that he's putting you through. So, we try to do the thing where like, yeah, I'll minister, but I'll minister this way. I'll give myself, right? I'll give myself, but I'll give myself just this way. Conditioning. It's like, wait a minute. Either you do it or you don't. But you down or not? Is you or is you not? Right? Down? But you can't try to make a condition to how and when and where you give. You got to just be ready to do it at any time. Because then you'll constantly be in a position where you thought you were going to do this, and then the Most High's like, nope, do this, and you're going to get frustrated. Then you thought like, well, I'm going to do this, and then he's like, nope, do this. And you're going to be like, what the hell? And there's going to be a back and forth until he breaks that out of you. He's going to break you. Right? No, I don't know what that was. Go ahead, Acts 4:36.
Acts chapter 4, verse 36. Moses? Consolation.
Right?
A Levite, and of the country of Cyrus.
Right?
Having land, sold it.
Right? So this is when the apostles all come together now. They're like, listen, we need everybody to come together, their goods, their things. We need everybody to be conformed to one mind, to one judgment for this one purpose. We need everybody to conform to this. Either you're going to do it or you're not. That's what it was. It wasn't like, you have to do it. But listen, this is what we all doing. We all going to bring our goods together so that we can redistribute.
Right.
You down? I'm down. You down? Nah, I ain't with that. I want to keep myself. Okay, cool. Keep your stuff. You down? Well, how much you want? Well, I'll give part. Okay, cool. We'll take that part. You gonna give all? Okay, all. Ananias, all of it? Oh, you sure?
Sure.
Cool. Okay. Your wife? Oh, she agrees too, right? Okay, cool. Okay. Right? You agree. That's the problem. You agree to give what was necessary. But then you start to rethink yourself. Right? Go ahead.
And brought the money
Uh-huh.
and laid it at the apostles' feet.
Right, so Barnabas did this. Go ahead.
But a certain man named Ananias,
Right, so we in chapter 5 with a certain man Ananias. Go ahead.
with Sapphira, his wife,
Right.
sold a possession
They sold some things, read.
and kept back part of the
Well, you
price.
say you was going to give all. You said that when you sold the menorah, you was going to get 50 shekels, you going to give the 50 shekels. They brought it back and brought back 25 shekels. Go ahead.
His wife, also being privy to it,
And she knew it, like, because they were like, you know what? Damn. 50 shekels is a lot. So how about we just give them 20? And just act like, you know what I mean? We put the other half, we go on a date. Go ahead.
and brought a certain part,
Right?
and laid it at the apostles' feet.
Right?
But Peter said, Ananias,
Right?
why hath Satan filled thine heart to lie?
And that's what y'all don't realize, that it be Satan that be filling your mind up. Satan be in you like, you ain't gotta do that. I know you agreed, but there's a way out. He's whispering right here in your little ear, there's a way out. Don't worry about it. Right? Satan is filling your mind up with, you don't have to do that. It's okay. They'll understand. The Most High is not looking at you. You didn't agree to this. Yeah, you did. You did agree. You did agree. Go ahead.
Why hath Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Ghost?
Well, read.
And to keep part back, and to keep back parts of the price of the land.
Go ahead.
Whilst it remained, was it not thine own?
Yeah, like, wasn't it your land? You know how much you was going to sell it for, right? Go ahead.
And after it was sold,
Right?
was it not thine own power?
Yeah, didn't you take the money and say what you was going to get for it? Go ahead.
Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine
You
heart?
see, you conceived something after the fact. You conceived that you wanted to minister and give what was necessary, but then you had a reconception. That, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that because now it's going to put me in a situation. My life is going to be hazarded because of this thing. Of course it is. Of course you're going to be inconvenienced a little bit, but so what? See, the point of this was that everybody was going to be inconvenienced for a moment just to be reconvened after a moment. We are all going to be convenienced in the same moment. You gave the price, and then now, oh, okay, well, you need 25 back. We got you. Here you go. Boom. Oh, you need 50. Oh, here you go. Boom. Redistribution. But they conceived that they were going to be left in the cold. That's what Ananias conceived. He had to have, like, what, to hold back what he said that he was going to give. It had to be a conception in his mind that, wait a minute, something bad is going to happen to me here. He counted the money dear to his life. You see that? He counted that more dear than what the Spirit could have brought him. Go ahead.
Thou hast not lied unto men,
Go ahead.
but unto the Most High.
Read.
And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down
Right.
and gave up the ghost.
Right.
And great fear came on all them that heard these things.
Right. So he died right there. Right there. He gave up the ghost, man. He died. He deserved to die. Just like that. It should have been worse. It should have been worse, but see, what happens with us is we die slowly inside. Because you know what you should be doing. You know how you should be giving, how you should be moving, what sacrifices you should be making. It's not hard. It's not like, yo, give up a paycheck. You ain't asking for that. Come on, stop. No. No. What it is change your mind and your mentality towards the things that are necessary. Go ahead.
And the young man arose, wound him up, and carried him out, and buried him.
Right. And we'll stop it there. We know what happens. His wife comes in, and guess what? She dies the same death.
Yep.
How fitting. Right? So we got to remember, man, that first and foremost, if you utter it out of your mouth, be ready to give what you say you're going to do. That's first and foremost. Honor your vows. But then second of all you got to do is go back through history, through the Bible, and look and say, wait a minute, the things that the Most High is asking me to give now, is it that detrimental? A little bit of my time, a little bit of my space, a little bit of sleep. That's all it is.
You know, you said something with the Most High, what you're willing to give to the Most High right now. Now, if you don't want to give it to the Most High now, He's going to take it later.
I'm going to take it.
He's going to take it.
Take that. I did.
It's like, okay, let me see if you're going to give it to me willingly.
Yeah. That's
And
it.
humbly, submissively.
Let me see how dear this is to your life.
Yeah, let me see how
dear is your sleep? How dear
God.
to your life is your sleep, your free time, your this, your that? Oh, okay, so you like to sleep, huh? Make sure you get no sleep. I'm gonna make sure you don't get no comfort. I'm gonna make sure, watch. And the Most High is good for that. He's good for putting you in situations where you think like, oh yeah, I got it now. Chilling. Right? And then it doesn't go down the way you think because there's other variables and other factors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Any questions?
Wow.
Y'all just want to go home. Y'all want to go home and eat. I'm already full. Sad. Oh man, well, we thank everybody for joining us online. Hopefully y'all got something from the class. Hopefully y'all got something from y'all's fast today. Remember the Day of Atonement. Hope y'all set up y'all's prayers and ask the Most High to take away through the fasting, through the praying, take away some of those things that are plaguing a lot of our minds and flesh. Well, with that, we thank everybody, and we're going to say shalom until Saturday.
Shalom.
Chilling up in the kingdom, chilling with Yahweh Shai and all the